Masterpiece Soundwave.
Hey, what's up again, everybody? It's Robert184, 2Rs2Bs, gundam.tk, and even though it is usually all Gundam almost all the time, it's time to finish up my look at Masterpiece Soundwave. Usually when I review a Gundam with a transformation, I do the transformation at the end, and I know for most Transformer fans, this is probably the most important part. So now let's take a look as Soundwave is going to get changed from his very cool robot mode that you've already seen into, yes, a stereo cassette, if people still know what that is. For comparison's sake, we all know how easy it is to transfer the old school Soundwave or Sound Blaster. Basically, that's it. So you'd hope that this transformation is going to pack a little bit more of a punch. So the first thing you're going to do is take the manipulators here, or the hands, and just fold them up inside, which is a nice touch, and I wish more old Transformers had had. Open up the back part here, and you don't have to twist the head around. It's just going to flip back like this, and you can actually make out the red eyes there. Looking cool and menacing. Then you can take this, spin it around, and drop it down into position. And then the shoulders, you're going to take these flaps, pop them up here, and fold them over. Before that, though, you can add the concussion blaster, which folds up neatly here, and just connect that inside. And when you bring it across, actually, it's sort of cool that the positive parts of the battery are actually going to feel like they connect there to the top. Lower body now, where you're actually going to take everything down there and snap it forward. So you can push the chest back, bring the legs forward, however you want to call it. And then down here with these parts, which may look a little bit kibbly for some people, but I think they sort of add something to the legs other than just having some flat, just straight down types. And they are going to add a lot to the transformation, as you're about to see. These are going to come up like this, and then when you bend these, or actually rotate the legs around, make sure you don't rotate the hips, so you want to lock those into place there, and turn these towards the back, and now things are looking very familiar for Soundwave, as it's time to take the legs and put them up here. Neat trick here with the legs, as because they are on this double joint here, you can actually take the foot, put it like that, and then if you take a look down here, you've got this part here with a little slit there, and that's going to connect in down there, and you can have the feet nicely attached. Then back to the familiar parts as you're going to bring the legs up, but you'll notice that things don't want to fit, which is okay, because with a Masterpiece here, you're going to have a button here that you have to slide in, and when you do that, you can see how everything is going to fit in a lot more neatly there, and there's a nice little clasp up there. And I was wrong talking about the movie, because when Laserbeak came back to report, actually Soundwave had these things sticking out of the side. Nonetheless, it's sort of cool that you can think of it as being something from that movie there. Now here you're going to want to be a little bit careful, but you can take this part here, and you'll want to bend it down here. These are pretty firm joints in a way that you're actually going to get it down here below the bend point. And once you do that, you can bring it in, and this part here is going to fit in and cover up what otherwise would be a pretty ugly gaping hole. And you're going to want to be careful when you're moving these parts here, because on the sides you may have noticed that this blue paint is a little bit chipped here, and that happened on both sides. So make sure when you're bending everything, you're not doing anything to mess up this nice paint job. And things are looking quite right here, except for the waist section, so you're going to bring the whole thing up here. You've got these little silver parts here that are going to pop down. Then you take these and move them apart, and you can start to see that we're going to be getting the front of this now. And these are the kinds of things that 80 Dreams are made of. First of all, the back is going to be a little bit disappointing compared to the sides and the front, where everything is going to be exactly where it should be with all the right color apps. But it's the fact that the batteries here are going to be actually sitting on the sides instead of neatly tucked away there. Although you do get the head in there, so that's a lot better. And there's just basically some open cavities there. They don't really help. You could take the sensor there and fill it in. But more importantly, on the front, you've got the nice chrome there for the record battery, the play, pause, stop, fast forward and rewind. And the door is going to look great. And of course, the most noticeable thing is going to be your eye is drawn to that silver button on the top there. Size comparison first, though, with Sound Blaster, the original 80s form here on the right, even though this is a re-release, and you can see that you're going to be getting about a centimeter more height here for the Masterpiece and a lot more width, as you can see if you want to go and stack these on top of each other. And in terms of depth, remember that regular Soundwave isn't going to have that second cassette protruding from his chest, although some of the re-releases had it. And you can see that it's almost double the width there. The one thing the Masterpiece is missing out on, though, is the ability to go and put this beside your onion on your belt. With one more edge going to the 80s, as it just looks a little bit more compact back there, as you can put all the weapons inside, the arms are inside, no empty gaping cavities there, and Yes, it would have been nice if they had gone with the old heat rub sticker there on a masterpiece as well. And the fun that can be had with him in robot mode can also be done here in device mode, as you can have him display whatever you want here on this image screen. But I'm not sure if he ever produced Energon cubes. Well, he was in his cassette form there. Nonetheless, if you want to attach it on, more power to you, and if anybody did see it in the anime, I'd love to know. But what everybody's been waiting for, I think, is to see how the cassettes are going to work. No problem opening up the door. Take Laserbeak here, and you can drop him in, and he is going to sit there nicely. The only thing you're going to want to be careful of is that he can fall back in, and when he does that, yeah, it's just going to take you a couple smacks there to get it out. But if you drop it in and close the door up, you can see that he's going to have no problems coming out, and it's actually going to drop towards you, as long as you don't put it back at an awkward angle when you first try it. So how about multiple cassettes? Yes, Sound Blaster, eat your heart out with just extending it forward instead of actually going deeper. What you can do is you can just take your finger there and push it in, and when you do that, you're going to feel one click as it goes in there, and another one as it goes in further, but here, again, you're going to want to be careful to do it properly. You open it up, and then on the back here, you've got this little lever. You can take that and drop it down, and when you do that, you can see that everything's going to shoot forward, but just one position, and then close it, open it, do it again. And with a few borrowed reissues here, open it, first tape out. Yeah, you are going to have problems if you don't have them at the right angle when you try to do this. For a more objective test, here he is sitting flat, so let's see how that works. As you can hear it go back there 3 positions. Let's try that whole thing again there. So he did fall back that way, and they all come forward as soon as you try to shake him loose. Also fell back. They all come forward, push him back. So ultimately, great idea and okay in terms of implementation. I'm not going to do a full verdict for this, as I don't have any other masterpiece Transformers to compare it to. All I know is the fun that I've had putting it all together, and yes, there are some problems. The cassette mode is going to have a few things, and the legs, when he's in his robot mode, it's going to look a little bit strange with those parts sticking out on the sides. And some of the things could move a little bit better for the actual transformation. But at the end of the day, from somebody who had this toy a long time ago and loved it then, this is pretty much just a dream come true for everything except for the price. It's got all the features, all the gimmicks, all the posability that you'd expect and never ever had. Throw in the fact that he's got 3 cassettes that are going to work not bad inside the chest. And basically, it just seems like Takara Tomy put in a lot of effort to make people happy, whether they were old school or new school fans. And the fact that they kept him in his original form and they didn't try to coolify it up, modernize it, or do anything other than make a better version of the 80s toy, for me, makes this well worth it. Anyway, everybody, I'd love to hear from you Gundam fans. What do you think of these Transformers compared to Gunpla? And Transformer fans, where does this one stack up compared to the other masterpieces? Too pricey? Not bad in terms of size? What do you think? Would love to hear from you. And as always, everybody, stick around. There's always going to be lots more news, reviews of silly stuff, and all the regular Gundam in between. And stick around for lots of adventures. Thanks for watching, everybody. See ya. Come on, Kyo. Come on, Awesome. I used to be young once, too.